This video wasn't supposed to happen because what I built wasn't supposed to be for you, it was supposed to be just for me, but I can't help it. Let me show you. Hey, I'm Paul, welcome in, and this is Build and Bond, where I've been building and collecting Lego for over 25 years. I use that information to give my perspective on things that are great right now and things that I don't love, just to pass along to you, and that's how we bond and create this community. I'm not going to make you wait any longer. The set that I did end up building was WALLE and Eve. They come with a couple of other characters as well. I'm going to go into detail about some of the things that I just thought were so compelling about this, some things that made this build so joy-filled for me, that I had to share it with you. And that was not the intention. But I think this set is going to be probably in my top 5 for the year of sets that I could afford. But I want to take you through why. If you stick around to the very end, you'll see a speed build. No, that's not true. I didn't do one because I wasn't planning to. Oops. All right, let's get started with why this set is so cool. So this set came out a little bit earlier this year, and it has some interesting builds in it. You actually get 7 bags total and 2 instruction booklets. One is for WALLE. You get 4 bags for WALLE and a couple of additional pieces, additional set pieces. And you also get Eve. She has 3 bags plus a couple of other pieces as well. And so you could then, build that with somebody else. Very romantic, I guess, in that way, in the theme of this set. But also you have the ability to pace yourself out, which is what I did over a couple of days to really enjoy the build. There are some things, though, as I was going through this that made me start thinking in the back of my mind, like, I want to talk about this because it was more fun to build than I expected and maybe a better value than I initially thought. So let's go through those. So I could list a bunch of things that make this a great set. There's a lot of characterization here that's really accurate. The scale is terrific between the two, especially. There's a lot happening in this smaller size of a model. The scale works beautifully for that and doesn't get in the way of making it really a character-driven piece. You've got the additional, the other character here. You've also got the boot and some compressed trash, which is really fun. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The part that really sells this for me is there is a huge number of printed pieces. I'm going to say it one more time. Printed pieces with no stickers, a lot of them. So I'm going to show those, a couple of those that I loved. And also a lot of unique pieces and molds that I hadn't seen in a long time or ever seen maybe. So I'm not an expert. I don't keep track of all those kinds of things to the T, but some shapes and colors that I hadn't seen in a long time that I thought made this really compelling to build because they really allow for these unique character shapes to actually happen. So when you look at these characters in a 360, you really do see them from all angles looking as screen accurate as possible at a scale that I didn't think was going to be possible, which hats off to the designers. They did an amazing job here. They could have cut some corners probably on this and made it not so exciting, and it really is pretty terrific in that way. It looks like the characters that we know. In fact, so much so that after I'd finished building this, I actually went back and I watched the film again, and I was really surprised at how much of the character detail had actually been compressed into these. There is a lot of articulation in both of these models. So WALLE's treads move. They move really well. In fact, I thought that was going to be the nightmare part of the build, but it actually was a lot of fun. His head has a lot of mobility as well. We understand that he's really expressive, and that's one of the things that gives him so much character, and that really works really well. Again, very small. And his arms move independently, very much like they would for the real character, and they're not locked in. It's a very fun build, and you still somehow get room inside him to be able to put some compacted trash. So to me, that is super duper fun. Is there something that's not right about him? Maybe some things that aren't quite accurate? Maybe. But overall, I didn't really notice them. And it wasn't until I watched the film that I saw a couple of small details. But that's the miracle of this. I think that's what makes it so joyful for me. Let's go over to Eve for a second. So Eve has her articulated head that floats. My only tiny criticism would be that her head floats a little too high. But I understand what we have to do here to give it the mobility. And the big joy here, I think, for me, is the fact that her arms actually have this articulation, that they really do come out, they really move. They don't go as flush as perhaps in the film, but that's okay. You actually still get quite a bit of movement with them. And of course, you have the place for the boot to go. So it's not hinged like it is for WALLE, but there is a place for the boot to actually stick inside, and she completes your mission, which is fun. Even our little cleanup character here, there's so much personality in this really small build. It's actually built in a really fun way, kind of some unique building techniques, but he does even have his roller that is able to actually reach the floor and back up just like it would, and he still has an articulated head so he can give you that glare from wherever he is. So those are the fun parts. Let's talk about the unique printed pieces. There's a lot of them that you can see right away here. You've got, let's start with Eve, because she's closer on your left, but you have Eve's face. You've got the glowing plant symbol on her. So those things really are so critical to giving her this personality, and they are captured beautifully. But again, I don't have to worry about placing them. So for me, that upped the joy for sure. On WALLE, there's quite a bit of pre-printed stuff, a lot of things that are facing the front of him, on the front-facing part of WALLE, that, again, give him that character detail. We could have achieved this through a sticker. It certainly would have been less expensive, probably, for Lego. But again, having that pre-printed just makes it more of an elevated experience. And I love stickers. I've said that many times before. I love that process. But on things like this, where it's only going to apply to these particular characters in these particular molds, this is when I really want it pre-printed, and I wasn't expecting that. So if you can see, that's why I couldn't help but share these with you. They are super fun, super cute, and they're going to look great on my mantle is where I'll put them probably. But even just alone, it feels like this really nice little vignette. All right, well, thanks for joining me. Thanks for being part of my calm space. That's what Lego is, and for sticking around. Listen, whether you have this set, whether you have any Lego set, as I always say, it doesn't matter. You got this. The joy of doing this is doing it with you and for you. Thanks for being part of the community. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. That helps this channel a great deal. Leave a comment. Does even more for the channel. And I will see you next time. All right. Take care.